Hello, this is Marshally, and welcome to my garden diary. Today is the 28th of June 2021, and we're going to take a look at the lavendels in the garden. They're, well, I wouldn't say they're opening because the blooms on the lavendel are so small that you will have to go like so close in to see if they're open or closed, like that one. So I'll just say that I can see the buds or the flowers on the lavender, and I can also smell it. So it's quite a nice smell in the garden. And if you just take just one leaf and just bruise it, the smell is so good. And the lavender smell is, or the lavender plant itself is such a well-known plant that when I smell it, then I can totally understand why. Not only do the blooms look quite attractive because there's so many flowers on a stem, but uh, the lavender is also used in cooking. It's also used for medicinal value, and yeah, it's just a good all-round plant. Smells good, looks good, and also tastes good, and also healthy. And a healthy plant to use for teas, or you can use it in your cooking for roast or in salads. And also I've dried these before, the flower, and just hang them somewhere in the house or put it in my closet, and it also smells good there. Okay, so I've ever since I've had a garden, I've had lavender, and they're quite easy for me to take care of. I just make sure that I cut it way back every year, and I cut mine back in usually in spring, and then when I cut it back, then I always get like young fresh growth. So like this plant here is about, I would say, about 5 years old. And look, you wouldn't know that it's 5 years old because it looks so young and fresh. No, it looks like quite a new plant, and that's because I cut it way back in spring, and I've been doing that every year, so that it doesn't get woody. Because lavender can get quite woody. If you could see from here, there's another one right here. Um, the reason why that part isn't growing as well as it should is because I put manure. I put chicken manure right on it, so that's why it was just too strong. I should have put it to the side, but yeah, okay. Marshally, we live and we learn, and that's what happened when you don't do things correctly. Look at that, that's such a nice plant. Okay, so I have these two here, and in past years I've had way more lavender. To be honest, I'm not sure why I don't have more in the garden. At this here, maybe there's just too much going on here anyway. There I can just have so much plants, but at the front, at the other part of the garden, we also have other lavender plants. And here it also plants itself out. So if you look down here, there are quite a few small lavender. So that's one. That's another one there. That's a small plant there. So there are at least six small baby or seedlings here for lavender, and the space is okay. So by in a couple of months, this will fill out more, but I'll leave the seedlings in there, and I'll figure out where I want to plant them uh, for next year, and then in autumn, then I will take those up and plant them somewhere else. So just make sure that if you have lavender plant that you give them enough water, Not too much. They're quite hardy too. I don't really stress out about them. Just make sure that they get enough water like any of the other plants. So this is not a plant that I'm going to worry about not getting enough water, but I do make sure that I water it. So it's not for me it's not a high maintenance plant. And as I said, it plants itself out quite easily. So after a while, if I want to replace one, then I can do that. But these can last quite a long time if they're cut back, like every spring. I would cut them back every spring unless they are really young plants. Then you don't need to. After they are maybe 2 years old or three, then definitely cut them back, or they will get too big, too woody, and they won't look as nice as they can. Okay, so yeah, that's the lavender plant. I think I'm going to just show you what else I've been up to. So I did a bit of cleanup in the garden, and yeah, so with the roses, I've been going through and getting rid of some of the roses that are spent. There are some roses that I just have to get rid of the spent. Like that one, I need to come in and take out because this one is full of buds. It has so many buds, and it doesn't do the plant any good to leave that spent rose on it. So usually I like my plants to just hang on to what they have produced as long as possible, but that is not an advantage for the plant to hang on to that. So sometimes, depending on the rose, I just go in and just pluck it off. That, yeah, and then it's gone. But there are other roses that I go in and actually use a shear and then cut it down, and that's okay because right there, right, let me see, right, right there, that's where the other stem will start growing from, and from there there's a stem that will come out and then produce a new stem from there to produce new buds for the roses. If I wanted to, I could have, if I was using the shear, I could have gone down lower. um, if I want the new stem that will come, because there is a stem will definitely come from there, somewhere there. But if I wanted to make it lower, the plant lower, or grow from lower a lower stem, then I would cut it down lower. But this is doing quite well. It has lots of buds that will open soon, so I didn't need to leave that spent roses. What would happen is that that would just take lots of energy. It will start producing seeds, and we don't want that. So, and here, like when the roses bloom in clusters like this, then of course not all the buds open at the same time. So I've already gone in and take out a bud from in the middle, because that, I'm assuming, well, it seemed as if that was the first one, so it didn't look good, and then that will give space for the new buds that are there to open. So that's what this is, a little bit of more, working with your hands, just coming in and just taking out stuff that are spent. So yeah, I have been doing a little bit of that. And the carnations, like when I see it like that, I will definitely go in and cut it out, because I really don't want them to start drying and producing any more seeds to sow out. And the carnations, I'll cut way, way back. I'll leave the green in and then transplant them somewhere else as soon as the weather is okay for that. Because summer is definitely not a good time to transplant anything. The plants will just get battered by the sun, and you would have to water them too much for them to even have a fighting chance of surviving. So yeah, and so that's what I'll do here again. For example, um, I'm on the wrong side here. Can hardly see anything. So here we have a bud that is not open yet, and then we have spent buds, and then one that is really not open. So I have to come in and I will just take away the buds that are not open like that. and then it will give leave room for the ones that are, yeah, that are not open yet, so that they will have room. As you can see, these are quite, they're large enough, so they need room to open, and then that will be okay. So yeah, I've done some other stuff already. So that's what my work for today look like. I will, maybe I'll do some more today, maybe I won't. Depends, it's quite hot today, so I'm not sure how much I'll get done. But when you have roses that bloom in clusters like this, yeah, that's what I meant. So that one in the middle, I have to go in and take away, because that just does not make any sense there. And as we can see with the one beside it there, look at that. That bud is being squished in between two that are open. Those can stay in another couple of days, but in a couple of days I'll go in and I'll take away that one. And then that will leave space for the other one that is opening. So yeah, these are things that just need to be done in the garden. This doesn't take a lot of time, and it's quite fun actually. Well, I like it. It's meditative, and you know that when you've done, then the plant will look better and the garden will look better. There's another spent rose that is, yeah, that I need to go in and take out. So maybe I'll just sit down and enjoy the garden a little bit. Then I'll take a couple of minutes and just take care of that. And again, it really doesn't take a lot of time to do that kind of maintenance work. So yeah. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you're having a good day and that you are enjoying your garden. And if you don't have a garden, then I am more than happy to share mine with you.